Hello, just filming an update. It's kind of a newsletter. Um, I'll try and do all the health stuff right up front. So if you're not tuning in for the rest, you can stop when I stop. Anyway, I'm a teacher. I believe in experts. And the way I've described recently what I'm doing is with regard to not fighting the cancer, I won't be in a position of fighting against. I don't believe that the world needs any more of that. In fact, I don't believe it needed any of it to begin with, but here we are. So I'm not interested in the closed fist. I'm interested in the open hand. So the way I've come to describe it recently is that I'm happy, I'm content, I'm willing. My decision is to let the warriors have my body as the battlefield, but I'm not going to be enlisted or conscripted into doing battle. I believe in the experts, and they are devoted to fighting cancer, and that fight happens to need to happen in my body. But I'm not going to ally with that, but I'll let them use my ground. And because I believe in them, I believe in experts, I believe in teaching, I'm doing this as a process of learning and engagement, and I intend to be their best student, their best patient. I'll do exactly what I'm told precisely, and try and have the most appropriate attitude, the most helpful, healthful attitude that I can throughout. I don't know how accessible that'll be because I haven't started all the cancer drugs, but we'll see. At any rate, I was supposed to start the chemotherapy Monday, the 31st, right? Yeah. And I think I got a call Friday from my doctor, who I guess I was going to see. I guess you get blood work, then you see the doctor, then you start the chemo, kind of all in one long visit. Anyway, she called me and said, well, they got the DNA results and I'm a fit for 2 different studies, which I guess is somewhat unusual, especially in the COVID era. So she was pretty delighted. So she said, let's not start the treatment Monday, which was yesterday. Today's November 1st, I think, Tuesday. She said, come in to the appointment that we already had. We'll discuss it. We'll enroll you in one of the studies, unless at that point I decide not, and then I go back onto the regular thing. So onto the regularly planned thing, although time shifted. So I thought that was a good idea because, again, that means I get to help other people learn, even if I never meet them. And so I went in and we discussed the studies, and I had a lot of reading to do. So a lot of stuff happened Friday when she called. I was updating all my notes and doing all kinds of research and updating my notes and checking in with other people, trying to get some clarity on what was going to happen. And then she said something else will happen. So anyway, I went in, we had that appointment. Everything was great. I chose a study then the study then requires that I get an updated CT scan, which I think is pelvis and chest. I think that's right. At any rate, that'll be this Friday night, which is, I don't know, the 7th, something like that. So I go in Friday night, and although it hasn't appeared on my schedule yet, and I haven't heard from anybody, I haven't gotten a call, the phone may ring now, but they were saying, well, that looks like we can get you to start on Wednesday, which would be like the 7th or something like that, 8th, whatever, of November. So not tomorrow, Wednesday, so 9th, but in a week. And so that looks to be likely. One of the studies involved a high dose of vitamin D. I assume it's D3, but I don't really know. And I spoke with her about that because that's not the study I selected. And she said, you could take the high-dose vitamin D alongside the study. And so I think I plan to do that if I can figure out which vitamin at which dosage. Anyway, that's where I am with that. I don't remember when my last update was, if I had spoken to the liver surgeon. Yeah, I believe I did. I think I did my update right after I had spoken to the liver surgeon, the oncological liver surgeon, I guess. And he had talked about how at that point, the plan was I'd start chemo, and sometime down the road at some expected window into my treatment, they would probably do surgery, right? Probably get a scan to, make sure. And the idea is that the chemotherapy is likely to shrink the tumor too much if they are too late in doing the surgery, and then the surgeon really can't see and find what they want. So anyway, and my medical oncologist mentioned that to me yesterday. She said, this new study, she was very, actually the researchers seemed very, they'd put on a face of poker, and, but my doctor didn't. She was like, the more than encouraging, like really exciting results that they've seen. I think they've had 30 people in the study at Yale, have been like a really high percentage of, I guess, success. I don't think she used the word success, but anyway, she said it could be that you will get your surgery sooner, because if this goes the way we've seen it go, things can shrink faster, which would mean that surgery is more likely to move up. She said, I think she said, maybe 4 sessions or less. She said she would expect to see results, I think, in 2 sessions, I think is what she said. And my understanding is the sessions are every other week, but again, I haven't seen it all scheduled out, so I don't know. But at any rate, so chemo 11/9, CAT scan this Friday, and that chemo 11/9 isn't certain. That's just what they spoke about seeming likely. So we'll see how that goes. So I think that's all I have on the health stuff. So poetry, thank you. A lot of people came through and bought almost everything there is. There remain 3 of the original large pieces. I'd really like to sell those. 2 of them are up in galleries. 1 is up here remaining in the school, although I had somebody ask about it, so maybe it'll get sold. But if somebody acts faster, I'd rather have them find a home before, I don't wake up from a surgery or something. So that's in Cromwell, and at the Intuition Art Collective, and the other is in Meriden, Connecticut at Time and Tide Gallery. The one that's in Meriden is actually not there today. It's been brought up to Farmington to be entered into, possibly, and offered up to a jury to decide if they'll bring it into their show, which starts very soon, like in a few days. So that could be an exciting thing. I'm going to aim to go up to that show regardless of being accepted into it, but they have like a candlelight stroll. We're through a bunch of different studios. And then, I guess the art would be in the gallery for a month or whatever. So I'm very excited about that. It would be nice to get that seen. So Rob was telling me just today, a very short time ago, that there's more people interested in poetry, and I've seen the same thing. People keep asking me about particular pieces that are already gone, and they're all one-of-a-kind pieces. So the images won't appear again. That's my plan. The poetry won't appear again. That's also my plan. And yet people are still saying I'd like more. And I'd like to be in a position to sell something, either goods or services, to support myself rather than just begging. But maybe this comes down to begging. I don't know. But I was thinking maybe the way to do it is to do it on a commission basis or a custom basis. And the 2 ways I thought of that is somebody would say, hey, I'd love one with this image I've seen of yours, that I post images all the time. I love one of that image. And then my thinking is that I would select something custom to them as a lesson, a teaching for them, and pair it with the image, produce it, and send it off. Or the reverse, somebody had said, I've always liked this phrase or this, poetry, this words, this teaching of yours, and then I would select an image to pair with that, put it together, send it off. That way I'm not creating art hanging on a wall, hoping it sells. I know who's getting this, and see if I can then summon the energy to actually do the creating, which takes a lot of work and not just by me. So that's kind of my thinking. So feedback on that would be great, or actual orders like, hey, great, I heard you talking about it. This is the one I'd like, and I'll see if we can't get that done. Okay, so thank you to Garrett for creating a GoFundMe. I don't know much about how that works. I'll try and include these links in the comments, but the GoFundMe is gofund.me. That's the name of the website, gofund.me. And then my, what do you call it? My, I don't know. My page, I guess, is C as in Charlie, 9, Charlie Niner, AA, 3D, just like 3D glasses. There's your mnemonic. Charlie 9, AA, 3D, and then 84. As in 1984, which isn't worrisome at all. So gofund.me/C9AA3D84. Speaking of which, this is easier, buymeacoffee.com/somedayfarm. That's my site where you don't have to subscribe, but you can send in a few bucks and or perhaps just see the free public stuff I put up. I've tried to put a few workshops and smaller lessons up there. Again, trying to actually earn the money I get rather than just get it as a donation. Patreon.com, also /somedayfarm. So we have buymeacoffee.com/somedayfarm, patreon.com/somedayfarm. That's a great way to do ongoing support and sign up, and you can, spend $100 a month, $50 a month, $25 a month, $3 a month, $1 a month, I think. Or I think the lowest is $1.08 a month, or $500 a month, whatever you want. So you can set a limit there for yourself, or you can just say, hey, every time I post, every time Steven posts, I'm willing to send $3. And I post pretty regular basis there. About half of it's free. So if you're a member, you'll still get the free stuff and not pay for it. And of course, somedayfarm.org, where you could probably see a lot of this stuff, would be great. And if you don't know how else to help, a lot of people have just dropped me off sausage or eggs or soup, things that I can eat, or, drop me off a couple lottery tickets, and maybe that'll help solve a lot. I may be only half kidding there, probably very low odds, but boy, if some kind of lottery ticket came through, we keep the farm into perpetuity, which would be great. Speaking of that, I'd say it seems all but certain I won't be at the farm next year at this time, probably quite a bit sooner. I'm pretty sure it'll end up going on the market in the spring, and who knows how fast things get sold. But that means I am going to need a lot of help giving stuff away. Selling stuff, just literally moving it. I expect I'd end up in a much smaller place, so probably just moving a few things, and the rest of it just give away or sell. People make an offer. I don't know how I do that, if I just do a tag sale, or I'm kind of imagining now I just clear out one room, like the library in the house, and then just kind of slowly put things in there on given days, and just say, hey, if you want to buy it, if not, just take it, bring it to the dump, give it away, donate it, whatever. But just physically moving it would be great. And then just a whole bunch of stuff to toss. So I guess we'd have to coordinate how we do that on days that the transfer station is open. Here, that's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at certain hours, but or maybe you take stuff and bring it to your town. However, I don't know how that works. But I have a meeting with a realtor tomorrow to talk about how that happens, mostly in terms of where I might go. That's smaller. I think my needs would be like, as long as there's a room I can teach in, and then just a bedroom and a bathroom for me somewhere, and a little bit of outdoor space, just so, you know, when the weather's nicer, we can have a little bit of space outside. It wouldn't be like the farm, but some space, and, you know, more than, you know, a couple parking spaces, you know, 3 or 4 parking spaces. So maybe if you know something kind of in the area, I imagine it might be just a little bit west of here. I think the prices would be lower, or a little bit north of here. That's kind of my guess, but maybe the realtor will inform me. So again, just more stuff just to do. Okay, so classes, you know, we have our Monday night class that's Zoom friendly. We have our Wednesday night class that is socially distance friendly. Both of those classes are 6:30 p.m. They last an hour. One's on Taoism, you know, so that's what we're doing. And the Wednesday night class is a meditation class. I'm guessing with chemo, I have to be more concerned with interacting with people, distance, and wearing masks. So I guess I'll have to kind of enforce the masks indoors as the weather changes. But I've been trying to air the place out regularly, and also have a HEPA filter and the UV and all that. And there's a lot of space now that everybody's come and painted and everything. So maybe we'll be okay that way. That's another thing I need, a bunch of KN95s or K9 and whatever they're KN95 masks, because I'll probably be going through them myself. But anyway, it may be that we have to turn the meditation into a Zoom class, or invite people by Zoom so that we don't crowd the place with the few that are here. I don't normally do that, but maybe that will make that a thing. So my kind of plan with this is I'm just going to go in. I've always tried to avoid the sublime pleasure of a straight shave, just to be frugal. But I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll just go in and get it shaved off and actually try and enjoy the process. And then start chemo, where I guess you lose your hair. So maybe I'll just get ahead of that. So anyway, probably need a lot of flexibility in scheduling in the coming months. So I thank you in advance. I've already have to shifted a few people around as the chemo thing is shifted around, and everybody's been super kind. I don't know if class schedules will have to change, or just private lessons, or what. I have a few people that are starting to do some push hands, and I don't know if that'll turn into they do it regularly, but if you'd like to be in touch with them, I can put you in touch, and maybe we have the start of a little core of people that meet regularly. I don't know if it's weekly or what, but that could be an awful lot of fun. And free training day is November the 12th, which looks like a couple days after my chemo. Who knows how likely I am to make it, or how sick I will be when I get there. But I think I've arranged a ride for myself up there, so even if I'm not feeling great, maybe I can just lay down in the car and get through it. But that's 8:30 to 5 on Saturday in Keene, New Hampshire. That's November the 12th. Free training day. It's just free. Come up and train. That's it. Whole bunch of teachers teaching. I'm supposed to be one of them, but I guess we'll just see what happens. And then there's dinner after. I think it's just pay, you know, they're not selling tickets to it or anything. I think you just pay for your own dinner. I don't really know. But worst case, I'll buy you dinner. So just come up. So that should be quite a bit of fun. While I am able, speaking of working for myself, if I can get to you and you're in, let's say, in the New England area, have me to your place for a workshop, maybe a couple hours. Even if I'm not feeling great, I can pull it off for a couple hours, I'm sure. Something you like me to do maybe before I have surgery, when I'm able to move a bit. Or have me do it via Zoom. Figure out, you know, an hour and a half or 2.5 hours or something, where you get 6 people together, 10 people together or more, and make a few bucks for yourself, help me earn a few bucks, and get me thinking about that thing that I love, which is teaching and sharing, and seeing if I can't shape the world a little bit for the better. Okay, so I don't think I wrote a few notes for myself here. I don't think I have any more. Thank you so much. Everybody's been so kind. I haven't gotten to reply to all the notes and letters and cards and emails and texts, all the people checking in, offering advice and well-wishing and all that kind of stuff. I just haven't gotten to it. I actually thought I'd start doing it on Monday if I was sitting in chemo, maybe with an iPad for 4 hours. I thought I might do it then, but that didn't happen. Instead, I'm in research mode for the studies. But that may happen. I think I mentioned this. I haven't done it yet, but I'm hoping to read what I believe. Maybe some feedback from you would be helpful. I don't know if a few people want to come here for 20 minutes while I read it to a small audience, or I'll just do it like this, sit in an empty room and talk to the camera. Maybe just after class some night, I'll just start reading it and seeing if everybody wants to stay in here. I don't know. But if you have a thought, please let me know. So if you want a poetry, you can think of an image or words I've used that you'd like to see, please, please, please reach out. Please subscribe to Patreon. If you can't do that, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think it's youtube.com/@ dragon. I think that's right, but you can find me on YouTube. And just subscribe, like watch a bunch of my videos, get the hours rolled up, like a few videos, comment them, share them. That would be great. My Today's Titantron tip, I think, is taped through mid-March, maybe the end of March right now. So they're all set to go live, one every day at 6 a.m. So, if I don't make it through this, those will continue until about April 1st, April Fool's Day. So maybe that's exactly perfect. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Xiaobu. Thank you, Clever. Thank you, Feicha Da Xiaobu. And Feicha, thank you, Ling Ling. And some Panda help. And thank you all for the support and the soup deliveries. And we'll see if I start needing rides to and from chemo, how that goes. They did the implant here, and I was told that was healing all up. So that's something. Okay. So come to the farm while you can. Come to a class. And soak it in and make the memories. Love.